Does my freedom of education ends when yours begins? Good morning, afternoon or evening, Professor Matusov. I hope you are doing well under these unusual circumstances of the COVID-19. My name is Juan Poveda. I come from Quito, Ecuador, and I am an exchange student at the Kyunhee University in Seoul, South Korea. The reason of this video is to emit a commentary with or about your paper that was called a student right for freedom of education. That seemed that your thesis in the paper was oriented towards the benefits of giving the students the freedom to define their education. Under this premise, I have seen that you mentioned practices such as the closed and the open socialization, or methods such as like the Bakhtanian dialogic pedagogy, which I found very interesting when I read the paper. Under my perspective, I found valuable points in your paper. However, I consider also that education per se could not be so individually defined, since part of the objectives of education is to serve as a guide for building a community, or as a guide to teach individuals how to live in a community. On this regard, I have seen that you strongly agree with the self-determination of education, mainly when you mention that education is primarily the business of the student, not the business of the state or the public or the taxpayers or even teachers and schools to some extent. But under this perspective, wouldn't you consider that actually this extent of self-construction of education could affect the goal of constructing individuals that are able to live in a community? Making also, for example, the definition of self-education as something subjective? To summarize, I would like to say that your article points very good arguments that prove that the current perspective of education has failures. Nevertheless, the individual approach of defining education can, under my perspective, affect some goals of education that are also very important, such as live in a community. In conclusion, I just would like to thank you very much for the opportunity, and thank you, Professor Matusov, for your interesting insights that you provided in your work, in your scientific paper. And also thank you to the viewers for their attention and their time. Thank you very much.